To have in the room tonight Christina Hutchence, Michael's sister, and I'd like to invite her to the stage to share some thoughts on her late brother and the one half of this remarkable songwriting unite.
My brother Michael was not a great student, but from the time he could read and write, he wrote poetry. His teachers didn't appreciate this. He would come home with report cards saying, "Michael is a dreamer. Michael needs to tend to his studies. And Michael will never make a living writing poetry." That boy who didn't pay attention in class went on to command the attention of an audience of 74,000 in London's Wembley Stadium. So much for the kid who'd never make a living writing poetry. Michael knew how to command a stage. He had that magic, he had that radiant energy. He could hold an audience in the palm of his hand. And it seems tonight he still can. He had charisma, a rock star persona, but underneath it all, he was just a man. And it's his humanity that I believe lives on in his songs. It's his humanity that in the end set him apart. His wild and tender heart set so raw against the world. I'm so appreciative of this prestigious award for Michael, and I know he would have been. Michael was a wordsmith. He had boxes jammed with paper. He wrote on envelopes, matchbook covers, paper napkins. They would all be covered with incoherent sentences, strange ramblings, and few words of wisdom, brilliance. Cleaning a table after Michael had sat there was like taking a glimpse into his wonderful mind. Between the ashtrays and the wine glasses were fragments of poetry. It was like finding diamonds in the rubble. Michael was in love with people. He loved conversation in all its forms. He loved to listen, he loved to learn. Most of all, he loved to love. It was the place he knew best. It was the place that he used to write his lyrics. Michael was in love with people, and it showed. He wrote of yearning for love, eternal love, passionate love, unrequited love, lost love, found love, sexual love. Recently, a fan wrote, "When Michael sings, 'Not enough time for all that I want for you,' it makes me wish that I could find that love, that somebody would love me that deeply. And it gives me pause to think that maybe there's someone out there." And that's what Michael's lyrics did. They spoke to people. Andrew and Michael had something special. It wasn't a conventional songwriting relationship. They were rarely in the same room, and quite often not on the same continent. One weekend in the mid-'80s, Michael and I were at a barbecue at Andy's place, and the boys disappeared into another room, and about an hour later, Michael emerged with an armful of tapes. He came over to me, took the drink out of my hand, and said, "Where are your keys, sweet thing? There's no time for this. I've got about 30 tapes and 30 days to slice some words together." As songwriters, Andrew and Michael had a rare chemistry. Andrew was as prolific a composer as Michael was a poet. Together they created the music of INXS. It was a creative union that bore many, many children. They were like alchemists, the two of them, with their band, turning base matter into gold, time and time again. So why are we here tonight, honoring the work of a man who is no longer here? Well, Vincent Lamaro, himself a songwriter and a big fan, said to his friend, Rosanda Herbert, also a big fan, "We need to get a statue for Michael. There's nothing here to remember him by." So Rosanda started calling around, and in the course of that, she spoke to Claire Burgess of the ASA. And Claire happened to mention that several times they'd wanted to honor Andrew and Michael, but for one thing, the composer needs to sing 2 songs. And so, and they've never awarded this posthumously before. So I said, how about we have one of Michael's friends sing the songs for him? And fortunately, the ASA agreed. I said, how about John Stevens would be great? And Claire said that would be wonderful, like if I can do that. And I hadn't even spoken to John in probably a decade. I didn't really know him that well, but we had a mutual friend in Iggy Damiano. And within hours, John had called me and said he'd be honored to sing for Michael. I've learned a lot in this process. Never discount the determination of fans. Nor should you ever give up on a dream, no matter how insurmountable it seems. So thank you, Vincent and Rosanda and Claire and Iggy and John. And thank you, Glenn, and all the members and directors of the ASA for making this possible. This means more than you know. While Michael may have become a rock star, may have conquered the world, the place where it mattered most is right here. He was very proud to be an Australian. 19 years ago, Michael returned to Australia to perform some concerts with INXS, his last concerts with INXS. And as we all know, tragedy struck and he never got to perform. But tonight, with the acknowledgement of industry, my brother Michael comes home. And that means everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.